Hey, what's up? It's Nick here. Hope you're doing great. So for this video, I'll show you a complete process how you can create a make.com automation that will find niche specified LinkedIn account, qualify them and filter them with the help of the AI, find their email addresses and send them personalized emails with the help of AI using the chat GPT, and then also sending them the fallbacks, which mean if they don't reply to your email one, you can send them another one 2 days later. If they still don't reply, you can send the third one 2 days later, all on automation. So this is going to be an interesting one. So let's begin. Alright, so we have divided the automation into 6 parts to make it more systematic and arranged. So in the first part, we run the actor, we made the request to find those LinkedIn profiles. And then the second scenario, we get all those data into a Google Sheet. Then we qualify, in the third scenario, we qualify that data and find the leads for those specified profiles. Now we use AI. So what we'll do is like we'll give AI a prompt like this is our ICP, the ideal client profile we want to reach out, and it will just tell us like all these people we need to reach out, and we'll find email addresses for only those people. Then we'll create a personalized email with the help of AI again, and then we'll send the email, notify the admin, and then we also have this follow-up scenario here. So if somebody don't follow up, we can just send them another email. So let's begin. So the first one, what we have to do is just run the actor. So if you don't know what the Apify is, it's a scraping platform. I hope you are familiar with that. Now, what we need to do is you need to go into your Apify and you need to go on your store and search for this actor called Google search results. And once you find that, just run it once and it will come to your actor tab. And once it comes here, we need to set this up to find the ideal client profiles. Now, so as you can see here, in my case, I'm using these keywords that we will be searching on the Google search. So let me show you quick. So if we put this and search it on the Google, it will give us all the profiles that have these keywords like chief product officers, the location, United States, and the industry, automotive. So it will give us all these LinkedIn accounts, and we can just simply scrape them and find their email addresses and send them email. So I will choose these keywords for the number of results. We'll use just 10 for the location on the language. If you have any specific one, you can just type in here. I mean, there's no point typing in here because we are just using in the search query, That's it. It's all the same. You can just come up here on the JSON tab, copy all of this, and let's get back to the make.com. Once you get here, you need to get this module called run an actor from Apify. Then you need to select an actor from here. If this actor doesn't come in here, like in this option, you need to go back and run this actor once for a small amount, like do like two search, 3 search, and then it will come in your actor tab. Once you do that, just select from here Google search result scraping, and then the JSON we copied from there, just paste it here. Now, to make the things more simple, I have put some variables here like number of results per page, max pages per query, and these variables that we need to find. Now here I have choose a little bit different keywords like chief marketing officer or marketing director or founder or managing director, and location is United States, digital marketing. Then I have replaced those data with these variables in the JSON format. So that's how we will run this actor and tell the Apify to run this actor and start the scraping. Now, another thing you can do is like we're using this thing manually. You can actually integrate this with an Airtable. So every time you want to run this actor, you can just go to your Airtable, make some clicks there, and it will run. All right, so let's save this and go to the second one. Now, once the actor is finished running, we need the data in the make.com. Alright, so this is the automation. So what we need to do every time this actor run is complete, we need the data here. So you need to select this module called Apify, watch an actor run. You need to click on that, and in the starting you won't have a webhook already added. So this module is kind of like a webhook from Apify. So you need to click on the add thing. If you haven't made the connection, just made it, put your API key in here and just connect that. Then in the actor tab, you need to choose your actor. So in our case, it's like the Google search results. You just need to click on that and save it, and it will automatically get added here. Now, every time this scenario gets triggered, like When the run is completed, it will automatically get triggered, as you can see the symbol here. Once that thing happened, what we will do is we'll create a Google Sheet. Then let me show you quick. So for the name, I'm just using like today's date in the format of date, month, and a year, and scrape leads and today's date. So this is the name of the file, and then we add the columns. For the columns, we just use this like for the columns, you need to click on a Google Sheet, add a row, and then use the spreadsheet ID we get from this module. Sheet name you'll get from again this module. Then you need to name the column. So I'm naming them like first the name of the person, his job title, his company name, his LinkedIn URL, his followers he have on LinkedIn, then his location, his description. It's kind of like a second title, a small description that we have. Then more details, other job details, then verified or not, their email address, mail stage, a sending domain, and last email sent time. Then we also write the subject 1, email content 1, subject 2, email content 2, and 3, just like this. Now this thing is very important because we'll be putting all the data in a single sheet. Once we do that, we move this file to our preferred location. The token has expired, but you can just move it. It's simple. So you can just use any folder. For the spreadsheet ID, you can simply use the ID from this one. This ID you get from this. So you can just put that spreadsheet ID here, and for the location, you can choose a folder in your Google Drive and it will give it to you. Then we need to make 15 seconds. And then we'll make an HTTPS request. So this HTTPS request is actually for the next scenario, which we'll talk about in a minute. So you need to make the HTTPS request, content type, application JSON. Now in the HTTPS request, we'll send the spreadsheet name, spreadsheet ID, and the sheet ID. And then we have another module here that says appify get database dataset items. And here we'll get the default dataset ID from the first module. So you just need to put it here for the limit and save. Once we get all this data, you need to add like an iterator, and you need to scrape the specific organic result array. You need to put that thing into the iterator because it will give you like a data like this. But most of this is not useful. All you need is like this organic results. So this is where you will get all these scrape LinkedIn data, as you can see here. So you need to click this array and paste it here, like put it here. And then we have a filter here which says the total, which says personal company name should not be an equals, like should not be an empty string, which means all the data we have here, we're putting that into a Google Sheet. So when we put that in the Google Sheet, what we want is like all the people that does not have a company name in the scrape data, we don't want to put that thing in the Google Sheet, it will just block it here. So that's how it works. The reason we put this HTTPS request here, because if we put that thing in the last, every time a new row is added, it will also get triggered again and again and again. So that's why I just put this here. So now I'll save the scenario. Now once we send that HTTPS request, this webhook will get triggered. Now because in that meantime the rows will be adding, so we have this 5-minute wait here, 250 seconds, so that till that time all the rows are added to the Google Sheet. Now once we do that, you need to search the rows for the spreadsheet ID we got from the webhooks, sheet name we got from the webhook, and we'll simply we won't use any filter here, we'll just search for all the rows. Once we get all the rows, we need to put that into an array aggregator to create a bundle. Once we do that, we use a iterator and we put that array here, and then we have the ChatGPT module to verify those, to qualify those leads. Now it depends for different person, different clients, different, because all have like a different ICP, you like client profile. So in my case, I have used something like this. Like again, this is for a testing purpose. This is test data where I have described like the condition that it should give me true, false. Now the job title should be CEO, founder, CFO, CMO, growth of director of growth, and then person should have at least 500 followers. The company name must not have freelancer student because those one are fake most of the times. Then I have tell him like read the description and determine if this person is a strong fit for our outreach. and is a decision maker, if he's the right person. And then have given him the examples of the data we will be putting, like example, not like the example, the actual data, the name, job title, company name, followers we got from this iterator here. Yeah, so we use this ad aggregator, got all the data, and we use the iterator to break it down, and then we use it here. And then I'll just click on save. So every time we get end results, it's gonna be like true or false for each client, right? I mean for each lead. So it won't go like in a bunch. It will go like one by one for every single lead. That's why we use iterator here. Now once we do that, we have an operation like a set variable here. This is only just so that we can just count in here, right? Because if I add this to this module, we won't be able to map out details here. So that's why I've added this. So every time a new row, like every time this gives an output, this thing will count here, which will I explain you why I have put it here in the next step. Now, once we do that, if the results come true, what we will do is like we have a sleep module here for 10 seconds. We are using like any mail finder to find the email addresses of those people. If you don't know what any mail finder is, it's basically a tool you can use to find email addresses of people by their LinkedIn URLs or company name or their personal name by providing some of the details. So we are using this thing here, which will give us the email address of these people, and we'll just put the LinkedIn URL here. And then once we get the results, we'll map that thing out. We'll put the email address into the Google Sheet. So I've choose update a row module here, and then spreadsheet ID we get from the iterator, sheet name, row number, same, we get it from the iterator. And then in this row, we'll just put the results of the validation, which will come valid or not valid or not found, like that. And in the results, it will just give us an email address. And once that thing is done, we have a filter here which says total number of bundles we get from the iterator should be equal to the results, which is this, which means every time we get an output, this thing will be counting that, we are doing this so that every time we add a new row, we don't take an HTTPS request every single time. Now, if this thing gives, like if the ChatGPT gives false, we'll just simply delete that row. We'll put the spreadsheet ID and the row number from the iterator. So here we qualified our lead with the AI, and we also found their email address using any mail finder. So this is how it works. It goes like one by one from here. And in case if this gives a result of not found, what will happen? The scenario will stop here, and then it will again start from here, and we'll have a new lead coming in here, and we'll just continue to work in a loop until all the leads have been finished. Only then it will make an HTTPS request for the next module, which is again creating a personalized email. So for the webhook, we have just used this webhook, and we just copy this and we put it in here. It's a post method, content type, application JSON, and here we'll be sending again the spreadsheet name, spreadsheet ID, and the sheet ID. Then I'll just save this. Now once that thing happened, we have qualified the leads, we got their email address. This thing will get turned on. Then we'll wait for 15 seconds. Then we'll get those rows again. So we got the spreadsheet ID and all these details in the webhook, and then we'll filter out all the people that have empty strings. And then we put all those rows in a array aggregator, which will create a bundle out of it. As you can see, we have all these details here we got from the spreadsheet, and then we'll put that array into an iterator, and then we'll create a personalized email. So in this module, again, we create these personalized email one by one. So let me show you the prompt first. So we're using GPT-4. So this is the prompt. You are an email copywriting expert. So you can just read it quick. I'll scroll down. I've also given him like the rules of the output, that it should be in HTML. The length should not be more than 100 words per email. And these are the details we will be providing it. and this is just an example of the output it should give, which is in the HTML format. So this thing will be creating like 3 emails at once, back to back, you know. So this is the example of the response. Now, once we get the response, let me show you how it will look like. So just a sec. So we have also added this error handler here. So in some case, if this thing doesn't work or fails, we have added the error handler. It will just restart this thing again in the interval of like 3 minutes. Okay, so once we get the personalized email, we will be adding that into the Google Sheet. So spreadsheet ID we get from the iterator. Sheet name is sheet 1 on the default. Now we need to map out all these details into our Google Sheet. So if you remember, we put the subject 1, body 1 into our columns of the Google Sheet in the second scenario. So this is how the results from the ChatGPT will look like. We'll get a result, 3 array, and then we'll get a body, a subject, a body, a subject, like this. And you just need to like map it out here. So we have like 3 emails at once from ChatGPT in the Google Sheet. Once we do that, we have a numeric aggregator here, which will just count down, which will count every time a new email is added. And then we have a filter here so that this thing doesn't get triggered every single time a new row is added, which says result should be equal to total number of bundles. So this result should be equal to total numbers of bundles. Now, because all these leads are verified and qualified, so I know like this number will be equal to this, and only in that case it will move to the next process. And in this next process, the HTTPS request is again the same. We have put a webhook URL here, and we have sent like spreadsheet name, ID, and sheet ID. All right. Now let's move to send emails. Now once that thing sends an HTTPS request, we'll get the request here in the second, like here in this module. Now this is the hard part, but you'll get it. So this is the webhook. This will get triggered. We'll get the spreadsheet ID and the sheet name, and then we just search the rows. No filter, we'll search all the rows, and then we need to set up a condition. Again, we'll be using multiple domains here, different types of emails, different email bodies, but in this one, it's going to be same. So first we have the subject here. So we use subject 1. Why? Because this scenario will only work once. Once means it will get triggered once, and the follow-up automation after this will be using the second and the third one. So for the subject, just put like subject 1, body mail 1, just put like this email content 1 we get from the Google Sheet. Now in the sending condition, I had to create some condition to make sure we just don't send like all the emails from one domain. So what I did, so I created a condition that if the first, like whatever the name of the person is, if the first character of his name comes between A and M, it will give us true. And if the first character of the person's name comes between N to Z, it will give us true in this second condition. Okay, so condition for the domain 1, condition for the domain 2. And here, domain 1 is equal to info domain. This is the name of the domain, the temp email I have, the temp domain and the email addresses. So these are the conditions. I'll just scroll it once so you can just see and get it, and I'll just save this. Now we have a filter here which says there's either condition 1 for the domain 1 should be true, or condition for domain 2 should be true. Either one of them should be true. Only in that case move it forward. Then we wait for 10 seconds, and then we have a numeric aggregator here just to count all these, Then we send an email. Before we send an email, let me show you, like we have also added a error handler here. So if for some case email doesn't go, it will just retry in 3 minutes for 2 times. Now once we send the email, as I said, we'll be using like different mail addresses here. So we're using 2 domains for the testing purpose. Now I'm using Mailgun here. Before you use these domains, just like I said, like domain 1 and domain 2, make sure you have added those domains into your Mailgun. Okay, because if you don't add it and you just put anything here, it won't work. Scenario will fail. And you can always map it out. So like if I have to show you, you don't map it, all the domains you have added, it will just show it here. In my case, I have only added one is like the testing one, so it will show here, but we're just like mapping this thing out. So that's how it works. Now, in the to section, we have the email address from the Google Sheets. I'm just using like a1marketing.com because it's like just a showcase purpose. For the subject one, we're using this variable from the multiple variables, subject one. For the body, we're using body one. And for the tag, we're just using a spreadsheet name. So to make the thing simple, we'll enable the DKIM, enable the tracking, enable the click tracking, open tracking. The best thing is once we send the emails from this, we can actually track these things from Mailgun. We can just go there and put our spreadsheet name, whatever it is, and it will send us like all the emails sent on those days, and we can just track it like what's the open rate, what's the bounce rate. Bounce rate will be low because we have verified all those emails, qualified them, so it's super accurate. Once we do that, it will update row with the time because the email has been sent successfully. Only then it will move forward. So we'll just add the time here. As you can see, time is equal to now. In the end section, I have actually written the sending domain, if you remember, which means which domain we used for sending the email. So here's the condition. If condition for domain 1 equals true, we'll use the domain 1. If the conditions for domain 2 equals true, we use the domain 2. And we'll map the details here, and then we'll put a null here, which means if both of the condition doesn't met, it will just like end here, the action ends here, and I'll save this thing here. Now again, next two things. Now what happened, like every time a new row is added, it won't go here. That's why we have a filter here. It won't go here. So if one email is sent, then it will come back, pick another row, and just come back, and it will, this thing will happen until this number of bundles we get from the search Google search rows is equal to this numeric aggregator, the counting it will do. So that's the condition here, that total number of bundles should be equal to the results of this to make sure all the emails are sent to, like, which makes sure like emails are sent to all the details we got from the Google Sheet. And then we have this email address here just to notify the admin that, hey, we have the domain run is successful. We have sent this many email addresses, and this is the spreadsheet name, and this is the URL if you want to check. If you don't want to send an email, you want to add a Slack here, you can do that as well. It's very simple. And then we have this data store here. So first you need to go to your make.com account and click on the more, and you have this data store here, and you need to create a data store, which is very simple. Once you create a data source, you need to use that, and when you create that data source, you'll get a key ID. You need to paste that thing here, and then because you'll be putting a dummy data here, you just need to select the update a record one, and then you put your spreadsheet ID here, spreadsheet name, sheet name, and the spreadsheet name and the sheet ID, and save it. So now we'll send fallbacks email, the most important part of the automation after sending the emails. All right. So in this automation, this thing won't get triggered from a webhook or something. It will be triggering every single day on a specific time. Let's suppose 12 p.m. every single day. So what will happen? This thing will get triggered. And this is the key ID we got from the previous module, from the store data. And once it does, it will give us the spreadsheet name, spreadsheet ID, and we'll put that thing in this module, search rows, and we'll search all the rows. Once we do that, now because we have to send the emails, we again need to create a condition to send these fallback emails. So we set multiple variables here. Now, like, this is the hard part, just trying to get it. I'll try to make it as easy as I can. So condition to send email to, if M is actually the mail stage, it's not written here, M is the mail stage. If mail stage is equal 1, so every time we send an email, if you don't remember in the previous module, we'll update the sheet with a timestamp and a mail stage. So if the mail stage is equal 1 at now means the time right now. So now time is greater or equal to 2, and then we have this equation here which says this is the timestamp at which time we sent the previous email minus 172 and this whole number, which is actually 2 days in seconds. Now if the answer comes true or false, that the mail stage is 1 and the last time we sent the email and now time is more than 2 days, it will give us true or false. Now in the second condition, it's pretty much same, like almost same. all the things, like the things that have changed here is just this number, which is 4 days in seconds. So if the mail stage is equal to, and now time is equal or greater to the last time we sent the email minus this time, at that time is equal or greater to now time, then it will give us true or false, which means 4 days have been passed away or not. That's the conclusion. And then the sending domain will just use the, if you remember in the last scenario, we just put like a detail in a sending domain, which means every time we send a domain, we have just put the name there. So we'll just put that thing here. Wait, let me show you quick. Yeah, like this one. When we updated the row, we put this name of the domain we send the email address from, we put that data here and also the now time. So once we get that here, and we just put this email address here because we'll be using the same one to send another email. You can't be just sending emails from like different addresses, you know. It needs to be same. Then we have a sleep module here 10 seconds because this thing will run in a loop. So we don't want this thing to just hit mailgun again and again at fast pace. The API might stop, you know, because they have like server restrictions. Now in the domain section, we have map out the things. We got the variable from here, whatever the email address will be, we sent the email from the first one. Now ignore this, it's not loaded up. In the to section, we'll just use this 14, which means the email address. And from section, we're again using the email sending domain. You can change this to event marketing if you want, but here I've just put like the same domain name. Okay, so in the email sending module, so here's the condition for the subject. If the condition to send email to comes true, it will use the first subject and will just take it from the sheet. As you can think, that thing is just like moving here. And if the condition to send email 3 equals true, then it will be using again the subject 3 from this Google sheet. And if both of the conditions are not met, then a null, which means just end the action. Same thing for the body. If condition to send email 2 is equal true, then use the body 2. And if the condition to send email 3 is equal true, then you use just the body 3. It's not written here in this thing in the variable, but that's what I actually refer to. And then for the tags, we can just use like spreadsheet name, you know, we get from the web, this data stores, and we'll just use a campaign 2 in the front so that it's more easy, because we also sent the email last time, and it will be easy for you know just to differentiate. Then we'll just enable all these settings. It's on you how you want it. I just prefer to have them. And then we'll update row with the time. So once the email is sent, we'll update the row. So this is the row. We updated this with the time. Also, we are putting the same domain name here again, the one we sent the email from, and in this, and we'll also add 1 in the mail stage, which means the mail stage plus 1. So if it's 2, it will become 3. It's 1, it will become 2, like that. So this is the scenario, and it's all completed now. It's a big one, but it's actually very useful if you want to scale and if you want to reach out to right people. This is like super useful because you can just find like this people from the keyword, and it's very accurate, you know, and everything is on automation, so you don't really need to do all this thing one by one or hire someone. Most important thing, which is to hire someone to do this thing, because we're just using like the keywords to get these profiles, so you don't even need to get a LinkedIn sales navigator, which costs like $100 upfront. So this thing is like cost like very less dollars compared to the LinkedIn one, because if you do like the LinkedIn one, then you need to get the sales navigator, then you need to use software like Expandy or something to get the emails, and then you need to scrape them, you need to verify them. And here we just do all of that at once together here. And the best part is we can even integrate that. You can run this active with the Airtable if you want. You can also run this thing with this Slack you want. Yeah, I hope this video was useful, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.